are based on the sum of our experiences.
I mean, honestly, when people get pissed off about an AI modeling their artwork or their music, I'm like, listen, we call it influence in the human world, right? When you're going to the museum and you're studying Da Vinci or somebody, and then you're trying to, and that influences you. Okay, I mean, I don't get the difference. I really don't. I mean, copying, I got it. It's called plagiarism. But, modeling is called influencing. And I'll probably piss someone off. But I just think, anyway, different story.
I'm starting to think through another lens from which I look at this, is I look at it through an economic lens, which is economic growth, trend rate growth, is driven by three factors really, which is population growth, productivity growth, and debt growth. And we've got shrinking populations in most of the developed world now.
People need to understand that, right? We are very quickly throughout most of Asia, United States, most of Europe, other than Africa and a few other countries, we're heading towards a massive population decline.
What we're creating here is our whole economy is built on scarcity of manpower, physical power, i.e. the ability to do things, and the ability for knowledge. So doctors and lawyers, there's less of them, there's large demand, the cost of them is high. Now, what we're about to do is unleash essentially unlimited knowledge at almost zero cost. And with the robots, you get unlimited manpower. So you're basically creating unlimited humans.
So if you ask me, okay, beyond AI, what's next in its impact on humanity? It is the robots, right? There are 30 companies that are well-funded that are tracking. You know them as Tesla, their Optimus robot, Figure AI, with their Figure robot. Full disclosure, I own Tesla stock. I'm an investor in Figure. There are a number of companies coming out of China, and these are robots. Elon's prediction on price is he's going to sell them for $10,000. Even if they're $50,000, right? This is something that works 24/7. No drug testing, no fights with their boyfriends or girlfriends. Operates 24/7 through the week, and you could lease that for $200-300 a day, and it does anything and everything you want. These robots are operating on a multimodal AI. They can see and understand what they're seeing. You can communicate and say, please clean up the room. First time you get the robot, you show it the room, say, look around, this is what I consider the room looks like when it's clean. And then next time, come in, can you please set it back to its original state of clean? But these robots will go far beyond. They'll become our future surgeons, right? There is no question in my mind that maybe it's not 10 years, maybe it's 12, 15 years. Within 15 years, the best surgeons in the world will be these humanoid robots. Can see in infrared, ultraviolet, no jitter, not too much coffee, didn't get too much sleep. And if you're interviewing a surgeon for a particular surgery you need to do, there's one question you ask, which is, how many times have you done this surgery, like today, this morning? Right? Because the surgeon who's done the most surgeries has seen the most variations and has the most experience. These surgical robots will share their knowledge, and so 1 million of them will have seen every variation. And just like a Tesla car shares its experience with its primary mission control, the same thing here, and it'll be the cost of the capex and the cost of electricity. So you'll have these surgical robots available in small villages, right? All of this is about creating a democratization and demonetization and an uplifting of humanity. So AIs will be your diagnostician, these robots will become your surgeon. And these are just small examples of what's coming.
And if you are able to increase human knowledge, true experts at an infinite scale, essentially. But we'll come on to electricity later. But let's assume you can do that. That kind of changes what economics is, or what the wealth of nations is. Because in a world of total abundance, money has limited value.
Yeah, we go to a post-scarcity, post-capitalist society.
And what does that look like to you?
I spent my community is called Abundance 360, based on my first book, Abundance. My next book I'm writing right now is called Age of Abundance, which will be late next year. Elon's agreed to write forward for it, and it's hard, right? So I want you to imagine that AI is able to is the world's best educator, right? So every child has not good education, has the best education personalized for that child. AI is your physician. It is not good medical care. It is the best possible medical care for you, right? We have, the question becomes, what do we spend our money on if education and health is free? Entertainment becomes hyper-personalized and effectively free, right? Where I can spin up a movie starring me and, Marilyn Monroe, and, and there it is. So it becomes a very interesting world. If you go the next step and you talk about, this usually takes a glass of scotch and a late night conversation, but if you bring in nanotechnology, right? And nanotechnology is the ability for these nano 10 to the 9 devices that can manipulate atoms that can, first of all, keep you in perfect health, potentially forever. But I can take a nanobot. There's an amazing book written in 1986 by Eric Drexler, who's a friend, called Engines of Creation, in which he talks about these nano machines. And if I have a nanobot in my hand and I say, duplicate yourself, then he grabs some atoms from my skin cells and duplicates himself. I give one to you now, you have one. I can say, I drop it in the ground and I say, build me an electric Ferrari. Now, it has to have the energy for building this thing. It needs to have the atoms. Well, there's lots of raw material. It might say, listen, I need a kilogram of lithium or of titanium. You have to go out and get these raw materials. Fine, but they're nanobots mining those raw materials someplace else. And, there's lots of open source information. So the information might be free. It comes down to energy, information, materials. And so this is a post-scarcity world where whatever I want can be created. And you might say, oh, that's insane. But if you think about, if you've taken a seed for an oak tree, and you drop it in the ground, effectively what it's doing is it's gathering resources from the ground and energy from the sun, and it's slowly creating this mighty oak, right? That's nanotechnology in slow motion. Can we do it faster? Eric and many others have done the equations to say yes, we can do it faster, more efficiently. Again, is that 20 years out, 30 years out? Probably in that time frame. And AI is the set of intelligence amplifiers that enable us to create those new sets of technologies. And so the world's going to get very interesting very fast.
And also, in that world of abundance, I'm not sure how corporations exist anymore once we get agentic AI.
Yeah.
Because the agents themselves could run businesses there. Right now you can think of agents, when people say, I don't really understand, it's like it's Fiverr. You can go on, you can get a specific skill set done, and my guess is they'll pay each other with cryptocurrencies because they can't get utility bills to open a bank account, so they need to pay each other for electricity and compute. But it makes me wonder, what is a corporation in that world as well?
Yeah, so you're right. And a decade ago when I wrote my second book, Bold, I talked about being Fiverr and crowdsourcing world as a interim step until we have full AI. Right now, if you need something, you can ask the crowd to do it and let them compete. The best one step forward. Ultimately, it will be AI. You say, listen, I need a new website, I need this, I need whatever your desire is. It's going from desire to materialization. And of course, the theory of the corporation was always, we're going to build an entity and we're going to put people on the inside, and the cost of being inside of this corporate entity where there's trust and communications and easy access to resources, that was why these corporations existed. But we're heading towards a world of, as you said, AI agents. And I want, and I spin up 1,000 agents. They become the employees of my corporation. It's been talked about